We're gonna catch some of these guys in 2021, and I look forward to the crying and the begging.
Nate Diaz returns at lightweight. With the return of the UFC finally upon us, there are a ton of crazy stories for us to get into. First up is the potential return of Nate Diaz. Stockton's favorite little brother has not competed since his failed BMF title efforts against Jorge Masvidal in 2019, in which the fight was ironically stopped by a doctor after Nate suffered some cuts on his face. However, Dana White recently revealed in an interview that he is working on getting Diaz back in the octagon soon. While he didn't say who he was looking at as an opponent for the younger Diaz brother, he did reveal that it was going to be at lightweight, against an apparently better opponent than Tony Ferguson.
We're working on a Nate Diaz fight right now, and it's not Tony, but if we get it done, I think you're gonna like it.
Welterweight or lightweight?
Lightweight.
Lightweight. He's returning back to 155?
55, yeah.
If the UFC can get it done, this will be Nate's first time fighting at lightweight since beating Michael Johnson in 2015, where he dropped the famous "taking everything I worked for" speech.
Conor McGregor, you're taking everything I work for, motherfucker. I'm gonna fight your ass. You know what's the real fight? What's the real money fight is me.
Who do you think Dana White has in mind for Nate Diaz's octagon return? Dana White's threats to internet pirates. In the same interview as the one where Dana dropped some juicy info on Nate Diaz's return, he also had a warning for people looking to illegally stream UFC 257. It all began with a cryptic comment on Instagram after someone made the remark that they were looking forward to streaming Conor McGregor vs. Dustin Poirier 2. However, the UFC president was asked to expand on what he meant by saying he had something planned for these pirates. Although he didn't exactly reveal some master plan to catch the bootleggers, he made it clear that he was excited to catch some people streaming and make them cry.
We've been one of the leagues that has been so proactive on piracy, and I love how cool and tough these guys act on social media. Because let me tell you what, we've caught a lot of people, and let me tell you what they do. They cry, and they cry and they beg not to be prosecuted and all this other stuff. So we just overcame a huge hurdle in the piracy world, and we're gonna catch some of these guys in 2021, and I look forward to the crying and the begging, and we'll see how tough they are when they get caught.
That being said, Dana White knows it is impossible to stop every illegal streamer of UFC pay-per-view events. With the prices of these cards and subscriptions constantly increasing, it's no surprise either. What do you make of these comments from Dana White? The cautionary tale of Spencer Fisher. OG fans of the UFC will be familiar with the name Spencer Fisher. Spending 7 years in the UFC, the King had more than his fair share of wars inside the octagon before his career ended in 2013. Recently, MMA Fighting's Stephen Morocco published a lengthy article detailing some of the troubling information of the post-fight life of Spencer. Apparently, the longtime MMA veteran has been confirmed to have early signs of CTE, ultimately leading him to be unable to hold a job. This, combined with some shady medical practices and implied accusations against the UFC, make for a fascinating yet troubling read. After the release of this article, Dana White was asked to comment on some of the things that were said. He was rather dismissive of the concerns, saying that all kinds of people, himself included, have neurological problems after getting hit in the head too many times. He also alluded to the UFC's part in funding research in that field, like we discussed last week.
Outside of Fight Island, I wanted to ask you, a big article came out this week about Spencer Fisher. He's kind of gone public, I guess, with everything that he's been dealing with, potential CTE, that sort of thing. Now that that's all been made public, I mean, do you have any thoughts on that situation? I know you tried to financially help him out for a little while. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that situation? Is there anything we can learn from that situation?
Listen, we're all learning every day about the brain injury stuff. We've been investing in this Ruvo Center to try to figure out more. We're now interested in this thing just came out on Real Sports about psychedelics, and we've actually reached out to the Johns Hopkins guys, and we're diving into that. But listen. He's not the first, and he's definitely not going to be the last. I mean, this is a contact sport, and anybody who's ever done this younger, myself included, is dealing with brain issues. It's part of the gig.
What do you make of this story and the response from the UFC boss man? Cody Garbrandt wants Jose Aldo in April. Former bantamweight champ Cody Garbrandt was expected to be facing the flyweight champion late last year before he was forced out of the fight. Now he is looking to get back to action, but he is not trying to move to flyweight just yet. Speaking in a recent interview, No Love said that he was looking to fight former featherweight champion Jose Aldo in April. He says that after he gets a win in this fight, it will set him up for a future title shot at 125 pounds, or a crack at bantamweight king Petr Yan. In fact, if all goes according to plan for Cody, he is hoping to fight for both belts before the end of the year. Before Cody gets to fight for the title, both belts still have to be defended, with Yan taking on Aljamain Sterling and Diverson Figueiredo and Rono likely facing each other again after their recent draw. Do you think Cody Garbrandt is deserving of a title shot in either division if he beats Jose Aldo? Manny Pacquiao wants Conor McGregor. You may have thought that the days of Conor McGregor boxing were over, but nobody told Manny Pacquiao that. The boxing world champion returned to form with a 3-fight winning streak, and he is looking for a new opponent. While the obvious options are either Errol Spence or Terence Crawford, Pac-Man recently shared in an interview that he wants to face an MMA fighter. Of course, the fighter he was referring to was none other than Conor McGregor. The Irishman has expressed interest in fighting Pacquiao before, even suggesting this could happen before he signed to fight Dustin Poirier. However, Dana White has shot down this idea, at least for now, wanting to see the former champ focus on fighting in a cage instead of a ring. Paulo Costa wants Robert Whittaker. The other day, we talked about how Dana White wants to see Robert Whittaker get another win before fighting for the UFC title again. Now it seems that we have some insight on who that opponent could be. Dana White explained that Paulo Costa was looking to rebound from his devastating title fight loss by taking on Robert Whittaker. Apparently, he and his team have been bugging the UFC president trying to make this fight happen. It appears that Dana is down to make the fight, although he made it clear that there would not be an interim title on the line for this bout. There is no word on a timetable or if this is even a fight that interests Whittaker. However, given the circumstances in the division, it might be the fight that makes the most sense. So who would win between Bohachinia and the Reaper?